How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to go over the new changes in the new release coming out today, October 21st. And it's the 0.117 release. Really good stuff coming in here. I actually have a list that's longer than the monitor that it's on, so I'll have to scroll, of new changes coming this release. It's all super cool stuff. Tons of new developers bringing some cool stuff. Oktoberfest this month really played into a lot of the new features. And the features that I'm showing are only like the bigger features that actually have, something to show. But we had a large amount of developers come in and bug fixes, quality of life changes, tons of PRs that came in this month, and super glad that they came in and helped out. It's really cool stuff to see. I know I started Home Assistant front end changes or development 2 years ago because of Hacktoberfest, so it's really cool to see a lot of other people coming in for that reason as well. But let's go ahead and get into it. First, biggest change I think that everyone has been asking for as long as I've been here is Ryan Meek has finally done it. You may know him as Maykar, Maykar, and I'll link his stuff down below. But he has finally done the compact header inside of core Lovelace. So what that means is it's not his custom header. It's not got all the bells and whistles that he had before, but there is he made it so that there's not that big header title on all of your Lovelace dashboards. So as you can see already on my screen, this is it. This is all that the header is now. Here are my cards. You can see that there's that big Lovelace title that said like Home Assistant up at the top is no longer there. It's very small. It used to be like probably 120, 140 pixels. Now we're at 62, I think he said. 68 maybe, 64. Super small, super tiny, and he's still working on more for future releases. This is super cool. It's super glad that he came in and started working on the core Home Assistant. Get his custom header stuff into core. Not everything, but I think he has a lot of good ideas, and those are coming in. But let's go ahead and take a look. So you can see that we no longer have the title at the top. It's super small. All you can see are the tabs. And over here, a few changes as well. We added icons. When you edit the dashboard, it does get bigger, so that we can show all of our editing and stuff like that. You can still edit the title. Go ahead and edit the title here. Home Assistant, or whatever this is called here. And we can save. And if I go back out, that's still not there, right? We're still not going to show that. It's always compact. It's always small. It's always great. It's no longer going to take up that much space on your mobile devices. Really, that's the biggest concern in my opinion. Is we're not taking up a quarter of the screen for your header on your on your phone. So that's super cool. Really glad that this is in here. I think that this is going to grow into something that's going to be super cool in the future, that it will have a lot of different features. It's super cool now, but what I mean is it's going to have a lot more features, more customability eventually. And I think he's just going to bring a lot to the table here. The next one, I think, is the next coolest feature, and I think it has the most potential feature, is Donnie. His name is Donka Wichio on GitHub. I'll link everybody's stuff down below that I'm going to talk about today. But he has added a quick bar to Home Assistant. What that means is I think on every screen of your front end Home Assistant, you can click Control P. See that this list box came up at the top. This is a way that you can search for your entities. You can run commands, and you can also navigate to different sections of Home Assistant. So for example, what you see up here is I can type in lights. I can go ahead and go to my bed light. It'll bring up the more info. I can close that, do it again, search for my ceiling lights, or my ceiling fan. Same thing. So if I hit Control P and then I hit Control P again, this brings me to a what we call as a command list. So in here I can reload just about everything, and this is going to keep on growing. So this is going to be some cool stuff coming, and I can hit Control P to go back to the entity filter. So super cool stuff, and that's Control P on all devices, I believe. So this is not yet available on mobile because you don't really have a keyboard there. But anything where you're on a computer, you can hit Control P on any screen of Home Assistant. This is that may be wrong. I'm not 100%, but definitely on Lovelace, and I'm on the configuration pages. You can do that, and you can reload everything, and this is just a super cool feature that's really quick. If you're on any screen, you can always see all the information, all of your entities and everything. So in the future, this is going to have like go to dashboard page, or go to Lovelace tab 3, go to developer tools, go to configuration page, go to persons, go to anything. That's going to be super cool. He's going to be adding a reload feature, so you can reload your server from here. There's a lot of possibilities coming here. So that's super cool. On to the next one. I think the next one we have is the weather card. So as you can see here, the weather card used to have this long text here that would be like precipitation or something like that. And that would cause the partly cloudy to be cut off at certain times, at certain widths. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and removed that text and added an icon. So this icon is actually humidity, but let's go over here and change this. And this is a feature that I want to talk about as well, is now the secondary info attribute on the weather card is actually a list box. So that's super cool. You don't have to know what the attribute is. You can come in here and do it yourself. So for example, if I wanted the wind speed, now it is an icon of the wind instead of wind speed. And also, was it that added it? Donnie Mart 1991 in GitHub added the direction. So now it says south southwest instead of just the 9.72 miles an hour. Let's go to another one. Let's go to pressure. So pressure has a gauge. That one's nice. There was one for precipitation. Okay, maybe I don't have precipitation on this. Precipitation's on there as well. There's no more words there unless we don't have an icon for it. Then it will show the word if it's just some weird attribute. And if it is, make an issue about it. Maybe we can add an icon for it. This should make it a lot easier to view your whole state in the weather. State in the weather, or the icon, we have the secondary attribute list object, and then also the wind speed is now a part of this card, which is super cool. Those are 3 cool little features added to the weather card. Move on from there to the entity picker. So entity picker used to only you could only search by like the entity ID. So for example, if I had an automation that was called Lock House at Night, that was the name of it, but the ID was automation.ticker. I could only find this automation using automation.ticker. Not, if I search night, that wouldn't come up, or Lock House at Night, that it wouldn't come up. But now I can search, Lock House at Night, brings it up, and that just makes it a lot more user friendly. It takes out the guesswork of what's my entity ID. I know what the entity is called, but I don't know exactly what the ID is. Big one is like Z-Wave and ZHA stuff. Their entities IDs can be super long, and you just rename the entity, but never go back and change the entity ID. How are you supposed to search that? Yeah, so that's going to make it super easy, I think, to add entities to your entity card picker, or your entity cards, your glance cards, any of them that have a picker like that. It's going to make it a lot easier. Next, we have feature from Thomas Lovin, and I think just about everyone in a Home Assistant knows about Thomas Lovin. Basically, the custom card king. And we'll go to automations real quick. Do I have any automation? Create an automation. Yep, please. Okay. So you see here, this is most of this is not changed, but if you go up to the top right, you'll see we have an edit with UI and an edit with YAML option now, and then also duplicate and delete have been moved to this overflow menu as well. But super cool is now you can edit your automations in the front end with YAML, meaning all of the automation. So before you could only do like single parts of the automation, like a single trigger or a single condition or a single action. Now you can go ahead and copy and paste automations from other places straight into this editor. You can also copy your whole automation to the clipboard, which is super cool. And this is all of the automation YAML code all right here. So that's a really cool new feature. Thomas has a ton of new stuff coming to the automation and script editors. Also, this feature is available for scripts. I'm not going to show both of them because it's exactly the same. But Thomas has a lot of stuff coming for the scripts and automations and super cool stuff that's experimental right now that blows my mind. It's a visual, almost like Node-RED kind of thing. Not Node-RED, don't get too excited, but it is very similar, and it's just a way to visualize it. Let's see. So the script automation editor. So the next one, we'll go to the notifications. So here, you'll see that there's this new button that will allow me to dismiss all of my notifications. So for example, you restart Home Assistant, ton of notifications come in because things fail maybe, or I don't know. Things shouldn't be failing, but let's say you get a ton of notifications. Makes it really easy to just hit dismiss all. That closes the notification bar and also dismisses all those notifications. So one thing to note is once they're gone, they're gone. They're not coming back. So if you dismiss them, make sure you know what you're dismissing. So we're already 12 minutes into this video, and I don't even think we're probably halfway through, but lots of cool stuff. So the next one, pull up the docs real quick. Building, show it. Otherwise, I'll just talk about it. Okay, so what you can do now, actually, you can have a dark mode filter and a dark mode image to your picture elements card. So before, if we go ahead and add a picture elements card really quick, if I can spell picture right, picture elements, we have this light image here that is very bright. So let's say, example, you switch back and forth. You don't want this bright ass image on your dashboard when in dark mode. So what you can do now is, if I before, but I forgot. Is you can it's a dark underscore mode underscore filter, and here see that before it has this bright ass thing, and now after you set the filter, I think this one's set to invert 100%. It inverts all of the colors on that image, so it's more of a dark mode image. You can also just go ahead and specify what image you want as a dark mode in case there are different images that you want. Because invert is not always perfect. It is like, this does not, this looks a little weird, right? That you want, the couch to still be yellow. You might create your own image, change what you want to be a dark mode, and then upload that as well. So that's super cool stuff. I think that dark mode is definitely something that's needed, and Home Assistant being a developer place where a lot of developers use dark mode on their code editors, and I think just dark mode in general is less stress on the eyes, so more features for that is always super cool. The next one we have, I think that's all of our like super big PRs that I found. I think that um, those are the biggest ones, bring the most impact. But I think there's still some super cool stuff coming. Also, I'll link everybody who made these changes down below. You can go give them a follow, sponsor them on GitHub, whatever. Make sure you check them out. So the next one listed is just a small quality of life change. But let's say we go over here, and we have a resource that we want to create or add. I could say, okay, testing.js automatically know what the resource type is. So if you do a .js file, or let's say you add a .css file, which is a style sheet, back, let's say I do testing.css, also automatically going to know it's a style sheet. Just a little quality of life thing that you no longer have to set that resource type, does it automatically. Next one is from Space Gayer or Jayer, I'm not sure how to say that. But he added the ability to copy your system information. So, for example, whenever you do a bug in Home Assistant in the front end or in the back end, a lot of the times we ask for this information card, the data in this card. So what you can do now is just hit copy, add here, paste. Now it has system health, all of that information side by side, which is very nice, very easy to copy and paste this and paste that into your issues, and gives us a little bit more information about what we're working with. Super cool stuff there. Next one should have been the big one because I think a lot of people wanted this. History. Okay, so history now have the ability to filter the history panel. So before it used to be just all of this mess here, right? Now he added the ability to choose an entity here. Feeling like you now see that this is the full history from 7:10 a.m. to 9:30. This to be day. See that it wasn't on here. So this kind of aligns the history panel with the logbook panel, which is super cool. I think this has always been needed, and I think there's a lot of improvements we can have more to the history panel. But right now, this is let's see. So I think that is actually all that I had. Again, super cool stuff that is coming to the front end and these changes. I may have missed something. If I did, let me know in the comments. But I think there are a lot of different PRs that came in that I didn't mention just because they didn't have enough stuff to show, but they're really nice things to have. Every PR comes in that is always helping the front end get better and better. And I'm only talking about the front end changes. I'm sure there's a ton of new stuff that comes in the back end, like there is every release. But this is the new stuff in the front end. Check it out. Beta comes out today. Today is October 21st. Pick that up. It's going to be super cool. I'm going to pick it up if you're in a production that you need to make sure it doesn't fail or it doesn't crash or it doesn't, something doesn't work. Beta may not be for you, but I think that if you can do it, it's nice to be able to let us know, bugs that you have or feedback that you have on these features. And if you do have any feedback on these features, you can let me know below as well, and I'll take a look at those. But overall, thank you guys for the new developers. Also, thank you guys for all the support so far on these videos. I'm gonna keep making them, so subscribe, like button, whatever the YouTubers say. I'm just trying to get content out here for you guys so you guys know what's coming up. I think that knowing the front end changes is always a nice thing to have, and reading the release notes and reading the PRs are all kind of hard, and seeing them in a visual way is very nice. So if you guys like them, let me know, and I'll keep making them. Thank you guys.